Today we're taking a look at Paul defending the origin and authority of the gospel that he preaches about Jesus Christ. And that is going to be found in Galatians chapter 1, verses 11 and 12. Now, bear this in mind before we dig into the text. Paul is not one of the apostles chosen during Jesus' earthly ministry. So he's an outsider. He was a persecutor of the church. And as a result of that, he was a brunt of criticism and doubts and active attempts to undermine his work in the churches. And you can see this clearly in Galatians 1, verses 6 through 10. All right, let's dig in with verse 11. First up from the ESV, for I would have you know, brothers, that the gospel that was preached by me is not man's gospel. So first up, gnorizo gar humin adelphoi. So gnorizo is I make known, or it's in the present tense, so it is I am making known. So he wants the Galatian Christians to understand that the work he's engaged in right now in this letter is making something known to them. So, norizo gar, for I am making known, humin, to you plural, adelphoi, brethren, brothers. I am making known something to you. Now let's look at what he's making known. To euangelion, to euangelisthen, hup emu, hoti uk estin kata anthropon. So let's start out with our first four words. To euangelion is a noun, the gospel. To euangelisthen is a passive participle from the same root. The gospel, the one preached, the one that was preached, because it's a passive participle. Hup emu, by me. Now we have this hoti. We can either take it as like quotation marks introducing an idea, or it's just that. So the gospel that was preached by me, that ukestin is not kata anthropon, according to either a man or man. So what is it that he's saying here? I'm making something known to you, and that something is that the gospel that was preached by me is not of or from or according to a man or man. This is not a human-originated message. This is not man-devised. This is not a people thing. This winds up being really significant as we go on. So Paul's message about Jesus, the same message that the Galatians had already heard from him, he wants them to be sure that they understand it's not a man-made message. And guess who is a man among countless men? Paul is, right? It's not of his own design, it's not of his own origin, it's not of human origin at all. And his big concern in the letter to the Galatians is that they're turning away from his gospel, from the gospel that he presented, and embracing some man-made nonsense. At one point, he even refers to them as being bewitched by people who are coming along with this alternate message. So in verse 11, he says, if you're rejecting my gospel, you're not just rejecting some man-devised thing. You're not even just rejecting me, but you're rejecting something more significant. That's really important. Let's go on to verse 12. For I did not receive it from any man, nor was I taught it, but I received it through a revelation of Jesus Christ. There's tons in this verse. So let's pick it apart in three pieces. Udegar, ego para anthropou, parelaban auto. So udegar, for neither, ego, I. Then we have to jump to our last two words. Parelaban auto, received it received it. So that's a tough word. Parelabon, I received auto it. So he says, for I neither received it, para anthropon, from a man. Now this is interesting. It again could be from man or a man. That's a semantic range choice that can be made. But I want to talk about our verb. Parelabon is from paralambano. Lambano just means I receive or I take. And when you add the para to it, it has the idea of either handing something over or handing something down. So what he's saying here is, the gospel message that you've heard me preach is not something that was handed down to me or handed over to me by a man. It's not something that was a package, like a theological belief package that was handed to Paul that he has been charged with carrying out from some human source. Like, no rabbi gave it to him, no teacher gave it to him, no denomination gave it to him. These are not the fundamental doctrines of some group that the group gave to Paul to communicate. That's pretty important. Now we go on to the second part. Ute ididakthein. Ute, nor, so we had a neither nor. Now we get edidakthein, a passive verb. Was it taught and to me, right? So I didn't get a prepackaged program, nor was I sat down and instructed in a program. Then we get to one of my favorite words in Koine, Allah, on the contrary, rather, on the contrary. This is saying, so we had a neither and a nor, so we know there's one side of the ledger. Then on the contrary, the flip side, something completely different, we get diapokalupseos Jesu Christu. So di, through, or by means of, apokalupseos, a revelation, Jesu Christo, of Jesus Christ. It wasn't a package of information. It wasn't a sit-down instruction. I received this message that you've heard me proclaim before through a revelation of Jesus Christ. Excuse me. What we have here is a decision-making tree that we have to go through. Is Jesu Christu a subjective genitive, meaning that this revelation is that Jesus Christ is the source of the revelation? Is this a revelation from Jesus Christ, a subjective genitive, or is this an objective genitive where the revelation is about Jesus Christ? Or thirdly, is this what's called a plenary genitive, in which it is both a revelation from Jesus as the source and about Jesus as the content? And I would suggest to you that if you read the Damascus Road experience that Paul had, the revelation from and about Jesus, this is a plenary genitive. So what has Paul accomplished here? If the Galatians allow themselves to be bewitched by Paul's detractors, they're not turning their backs on Paul, and they're not turning their backs on a package of doctrine that has been handed to Paul, nor are they turning their back on some message that some man or men have taught to Paul. What they're doing is they're rejecting a revelation that came both from Jesus Christ and about Jesus Christ. If you pick up verse 13 and read on through the rest of the chapter, Paul goes back to the Damascus Road experience and communicates to them the details, some of the details of that revelation, so they understand how important this is. It's not man-derived. It's not of human origin. It's not a package of doctrine. It's not something that somebody taught me. This is something that Christ himself appeared to me, changed the course of my life, and gave to me to communicate to the world. And so if you let yourselves be bewitched by my detractors, it's no skin off my nose from an ego standpoint. You're not rejecting me. You're not just rejecting doctrines. You're rejecting a revelation from Jesus Christ about Jesus Christ given to me to share with you to change your eternal future. So what he's essentially arguing is consider the source of the gospel which you've heard me preach. And if you reject it, understand what you're really rejecting. Now, if you are a rhetorician, if you are interested in logical fallacies, you may say, but that is an appeal to authority. And that is exactly the strategy that Paul is applying here in his letter to the Galatians. He's appealing to the authority of his commission, of the one who commissioned him, and of the nature of the content of his message. It's not about me. It's not about my team. It's not about a group of rabbis. It's not about a denomination or a sect. It's about the one who gave me the commission. It is an appeal to authority. The question then becomes, what is the validity of that authority to which he's appealing? He is saying, consider the source. So I hope that was interesting for you. I find it very interesting that his strategy for going against those who are undermining his work is to take himself out of the mix. This isn't about me. This is about the one who commissioned me. Do with that what you will. Hope you liked it. Hope it was interesting. I hope you will leave me some feedback in the comments and hit the notification dinger and like the channel and all that good stuff. And until next time, Charis Kai Irene Humine, grace and peace to you.